The statistics are shocking beyond belief. Genghis Khan's men would blanch at the sheer volume of sexual assault being committed against Europe's women. This vicious campaign is being carried out against the people by the very refugees they welcomed in.
Bad men need nothing more to compass their ends than that good men should look on and do nothing. Thus said John Stuart Mill in 1867. I wonder what he would make of today's state complicity in the most horrific of industrialized crimes, the repeated torture and gang rape of tens of thousands of girls across the UK. But there were those that wanted to speak out, to demonstrate. But they were not only silenced, they themselves were often persecuted. The slow drip feed of a perverse new morality into the public domain now essentially regards being a perceived racist as a far worse crime than being a rapist.
I'd rather be called racist all day than be called a rapist.
Remarkably, one of the biggest atrocities to happen in modern Britain, what's known by many as the grooming gang scandal,
And what has to be one of the worst miscarriages of justice I've ever seen. Many of these grooming gang members are about to or have already been released from prison, many of them in the same areas as their victims. While the grooming gang scandal of Great Britain is horrific, a deep scar upon England and the English's national honor, it forms only
one part of an even bigger problem facing Europe and the Western world. The scales fell from my eyes a long time ago, yet when last year I dared to suggest that the increase in sexual abuse and harassment of women was coming from foreign men, so taboo was the suggestion that the clip went viral. This is such an important issue for me because I've been living in London for 10 years. I've also lived in multiple other countries around the world. Never before have I felt as unsafe as I do now. When I walk down the street, I'm increasingly being leered at. I'm increasingly being followed. And it's not, visibly to me anyway, people who were born and bred here. It isn't.
Je suis pas intéressée. Mais je suis pas intéressée.
Ah, pourquoi?
Je suis pas intéressée.
Ah, ok.
Je suis pas intéressée.
Merci, bonne soirée.
Bonne soirée.
N'ayez pas de cigarette, s'il te plaît.
Non. La story que je viens de faire là, il y a 30 secondes, ben, je l'ai fait au mec suivant qui est venu m'accoster. Je l'ai fait parce qu'il y a un mec qui est venu m'accoster, donc j'ai commencé à filmer. Il a pris mon téléphone, il a commencé à jeter par terre et il m'a dit « J'ai trop peur qu'il me suive. J'ai trop peur qu'il me suive. » Il a commencé à prendre mon téléphone, il l'a jeté par terre, il me dit « Ouais, tu me filmes pas et tout, sale ou tu crois que t'es qui, et tout, moi je te ruine ta vie. » Je peux pas essayer d'expliquer la haine et la peur, et pourtant je lui ai tenu tête. Franchement, genre, je lui ai tenu tête, j'ai essayé j'ai fait de mon mieux, mais c'est une dinguerie. Voilà, la vie que je subis au quotidien.
That foreign men, mostly from Albania, Afghanistan, Iraq and Algeria, were over 3 times more likely to be arrested for sex offences than British citizens.
How do they behave in their own country?
Across Pakistan, drivers and conductors often keep boys on a permanent basis as helpers or apprentices.
There is a culture to have a small child with you, go along with, and it means that the child is kept as a prostitute or as a partner, sexual partner.
लेकिन ज़ना सिर्फ मैंने 2 मरतबा की है बस, दोनों भाई थे।
आपने तकरीबन कितने बच्चों के साथ ज़ना किया?
एक हुआ था और 10 और 11, 12 तक।
It's going on everywhere, and people don't believe when we say something. They say that civil society is exaggerating. We are not exaggerating. Denial.
It's a taboo subject, but in recent times, articles have finally begun to appear in Pakistani newspapers highlighting cases of child abuse. But Zia Awan claims the problem is hugely underestimated.
We are every day listening to children who are being abused, who are on the street or in the school or wherever they are, or in the home settings. So these are tip of the iceberg which is being reported in the media.
They won't even address it. In 2013,
there were over 16,000 incidents of reported rapes in the United Kingdom. By 2022, this increased to over 69,000, less than a decade on, more than a 400% increase.
We are now the rape capital of Europe. The UK recorded the highest figure of rapes on the continent last year.
Listen, I mean, let's start with that story. 200 asylum hotel residents charged with crimes this year, over 200 residents charged with 425 crimes. So that's 2 crimes per person that we're talking about. But when you look at the detail of some of this, and I have this list in my hand, and this is just the list of ones we know about. These are sexual offences. They are sexual offences mostly, no exaggeration here, just for journalistic clarity. These are mostly sexual crimes, rape, sexual assault against children. What does it take for the government to listen to that?
Britain is the rape capital of Europe. It sits behind France, who has twice less than what Britain has. So there is a significant issue here. And it has to be, unfortunately, attributed to immigration. The correlation is too strong. The overrepresentation in the figures between those who are native here, those who have settled here, and those who have an ongoing immigrant status here are stark.
Between 2017 and 2021, Afghans and Pakistanis were 16 times more likely to be implicated in rape than German citizens.
So, in Germany, a young female politician for the Alternative für Deutschland Party, or the AfD, by the name of Marie-Therese Kaiser, has been convicted for daring to speak publicly about her fears over potential gang rape concerns from newly incoming Afghan migrants into her country. The conviction that she received was for so-called inciting hatred against local Afghan workers following her publication of gang rape statistics linked to Afghan migrants. The young politician got into trouble, you see, because of a social media post way back in August of 2021, where she reacted to the announcement by Hamburg's first mayor, Peter Tschenter, about the arrival of 200 Afghan workers in Hamburg. In this post, she questioned the so-called welcoming culture and linked to an article suggesting high levels of gang rape among Afghans within Germany. Her post implied a direct correlation between the influx of Afghan migrants and potential increases in rape incidences, using the phrase culturally alien masses to describe the migrants. Now, 27-year-old Kaiser has been ordered to pay a fine of 6,000 euros and an additional 60 euros a day for 100 days, resulting in a criminal record. Now, here's the rub on all of this. What young Marie-Therese Kaiser said was not wrong. In fact, it was dead on right. According to data released by the German government after a request from the AfD party, gang rapes in Germany did hit a record high in 2022, with 789 reported cases. This number is an increase from the previous years, 677 in 2021 and 710 cases in 2019. The data indicates that exactly 50% of all gang rapes in Germany were committed by foreigners. This is a significant overrepresentation, considering that foreigners only make up around 14% of the total population within Germany. The main countries of origin, by the way, for the foreign suspects were reported to be Syria and Afghanistan.
In Finland, only 3.3 Finnish people per 10,000 were sentenced for sex crimes in 2017, compared to 138 Afghans and 134 Iraqis. Between 2013 and 2018, more than half of those convicted of rape or attempted rape were born in a foreign country. In cases where the victim did not know their attacker, the figure rises to 85%. Algerians were 122 times more likely to commit rape than a native Swede, and Afghans 69 times more likely.
At a concert hall in Sweden.
It looks a little different in the snow, but this is where the festival happened, and where teenage girls say they were groped, harassed, and even raped by young men, allegedly in the main young Afghan asylum seekers. But it's taken 5 months and the events in Germany for the story to emerge, because although the police were aware of the crimes, they didn't make them public.
77% of solved rape cases in Paris were committed by men who did not even hold French passports. While in 2020, 62% of sex assaults on public transport were committed by foreign nationals. In Italy, a similar picture emerges. As a proportion of rape suspects, North Africa and the Middle East are heavily overrepresented. Afghanis and Pakistanis, for instance, are proportionally 15 times more likely to be a suspect than an Italian.
Questi ragazzi mi iniziano ad inseguire e a venire a urlarmi delle cose in una lingua che penso fosse arabo, non lo so.
The couple had parked in a quiet corner of Torre Teste, a park in eastern Rome, for privacy, before 4 or 5 migrant men surrounded their car. The 24-year-old boyfriend said the migrants had smashed into his car, threatening him with death while restraining him, before forcing the woman out as she tried to cover herself with an item of clothing. He said he screamed and threatened revenge as they dragged the woman away and began their attack.
Denmark, from around 2,500 cases in 2012 to almost 10,000 in 2022. Sexual assaults have more than tripled in just 10 years. Conviction rates for violent crimes, the closest data we could find, are dominated by nationals from the same regions, the Middle East and North Africa.
Let's do a quick review. Our nightmare statistics. Sex crime arrests, UK, per 100,000. 48 foreign nationals, 165. 1 German to 11 Africans. 1 German to 16 Afghans and Pakistanis. So Afghans and Pakistanis are 16 times more likely to be a perpetrator of blank than a German citizen. Percentage of sex crimes committed by foreign nationals. Sweden, 58% of blank or attempted blank. 85% of stranger blank. Ratio of blank perpetrators by ethnicity. Sweden, 1 Swede to 122 Algerians. So that means an Algerian is 122 times more likely to be a perpetrator of blank than a Swede. And the Afghans are not doing that well either. 69 times more likely to be a blank perpetrator than a Swede. In Paris, France, 2023, 77% of solved blank cases were committed by foreign nationals. Crimes committed by foreign nationals on public transport. Paris, France, 2020, 92% of thefts, 62% of sexual assaults committed by foreign nationals on public transport. Paris, France, 2020. Blanks in Italy, rates of suspects by citizenship. Wow, I think this image pretty much speaks for itself now, doesn't it? Unfortunately. In Italy, Afghan and Pakistani citizens are proportionately 15 times more involved in blanks than Italian citizens.
Stop! Don't touch me! Don't touch me!
Okay, say me.
What the fuck? Don't touch me there! This is my no-no square!
Allahu Akbar! Hey Akbar Hadiya!
Don't touch me there! This is my
Assalamu
no-no
alaikum!
square!
Hey شنو؟
Stop! Don't touch me there! This is my no-no square! Stop! Don't touch me there! This is my no-no square! Stop! Don't touch me there! This is my no-no square!
You are Prenzel.
Okay, thank you. Stop! Don't touch me there! This is my no-no square! Stop! Don't touch me there! This is my no-no square!
In prison, we had an old saying, you either fuck or you fight. Europe, you gonna fuck or you gonna fight?